Welcome, everyone. Checking a couple more things. Going with the flow today, girls, ladies. We just got in from getting some calves in that got out, checking other cattle to make sure they're in. Okay, so as I'm settling in, I invite you to settle in too. If you can recall, those of you that were live with me last week, we were just coming off the tail end of the retreat, the Emerald Compass Sacred Gathering retreat here on our land. And it's been incredible how the experience of all that is still integrating to this very moment. For those of you that are new to me, hello and welcome. I'm Tammy Lee. I am an accelerated intuitive and way shower. I do energy work, energy healing, energy medicine, however you want to call that. I teach others different tools and techniques that they can utilize to create this sovereign, to reconnect to our sovereign sacred self within us. Because when we connect with that within us, we no longer look outside for help or determination of who we are. We become sovereign. We connect with this inner landscape that is actually awaits us to reconnect to it, which is, we can call that your essence. We can call that your spirit. So as we travel this lifetime, these different paths that we're on, I have a number of paths, and I bet you do too. As I was sharing when we first got on, you know, I had the hat of the farmer's wife or farmer going, you know, getting a phone call. Hey, you got calves out. So took my 2 grandkids that spent the night with me, and that's what we did. We went to go get the calves in. And the fence, the gate was a booger. It was a booger, you know, made me cuss a little bit actually, because it was tough as nails to get it open. Old time gates, which reminds me of old time, even ancient, of the different things in our past that we have permission, that we can let go of. This is a great metaphor for how many times do we keep hanging on to things that no longer support us. Like this gate, we were, if you can imagine this, we have a limestone post, and then we have this wooden piece, this wooden pole that has all these barbed wires on it, and you have to push with all your might, with that shoulder. You got to push that pole, because there's a ring of barbed wire from this wooden wooden pole that's supposed to go over the top of this limestone rock. Those were gates, how gates were way back when. Okay, so I'm 59. When my father-in-law, who's 77, no, did he turn 80? My dad's 80. Oh my gosh, my father-in-law is maybe 82. So when he was a little youngster, that's the kind of gates they had. How does that support us now? It doesn't. It's frustrating. Like really frustrating. So, what if you're not strong enough to push it? What if you're in a weak moment to push it, to push that pole with everything you've got? And so Where do we need upgrades? That's a good question for today. Where do we need upgrades? And upgrades not just internally, but upgrades around us. Now we rent that pasture, so it's not we don't go and put a new gate on it. We have to work with what we got, because we put a new gate on it. Next year, the guy might not rent it to us, and then we're out of a new gate. So where do we have full capacity to upgrade something around us? What is something in your environment right now that can support you even better if you upgraded it? For instance, one of the things we have is a storm door on the south side of the house. North side of the house. North wind can come up. This door has been needed to be replaced. I had to take it upon myself to say no more. Where do you need upgrades? The door is on order. Can my husband do it? Yeah. I'm not even waiting for that. I am going to hire somebody to come in and replace the door. So as soon as that door comes in, it's going to be professionally installed, because they got to take both out. That is an upgrade that will support me. The wind can catch it. And then we have to tie it. Somehow we got to tie it, because even now the latch is broke. And when the wind comes up, we got to tie it a certain way. So we got to tie it a certain way so it stays closed, but the rain still comes in if it's a really torrential rainfall. So where at in your environment can you have an upgrade that you've been putting it off? I've been putting it off. I wanted Tim to take care of it. He's busy. That's not in his top of his list. So I took charge, and no more. I wanted it in before the retreat happened, and it did not happen. And I didn't get embarrassed about it. That's just is the way it is right now. Yes, I wanted everything to look nice and pristine and like everything fit everywhere. But you know what, darlings? That's not always the way it is. That's not always the way it is. Like, I didn't even have time to do anything with my hair except for let it dry naturally. That's just the way it is. That's just the way it is today. Was I expecting to go get cattle? No. So how are you? Let's just revisit this, because it's been a while since I've talked about this. How are you when the unexpected comes up? When you get that phone call and you're pulled away from what you're doing and what you're preparing, and you could have half your hair curled, and you have to be in a meeting, or you have an event to go to, and you just don't have time to finish the rest. Do you go? Can you have the ability? Do you have the ability to just say, oh, well, whatever, I'm still going to go? See, that's where we're in the sovereign sacred self of us, that we really, really are okay, because we know who we are within us. When we know the beauty, the absolute beauty of who we are within, there are times that what we look on the outside, we got to let it go. It just can't matter for us to still show up. For us to still show up. So can you let go of how you look on the outside in order to show up when you're being called, when those unexpected events happen? So just take a deep breath with that. Take a deep breath with that. Yeah. Will you allow yourself to still show up? Because we're all going to be called. We're all going to be called to show up in different ways. And we may not be prepared completely, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, or etherically. However, when we're called, will you still show up? Even if you don't think you have the capacity, the capabilities actually to do that. Will you still show up when you're called, even if you think you don't have the capabilities to do that? Because deep inside, darlings, you would have never been called to show up if you didn't have what it took. And sometimes just by showing up, those parts of us that are sometimes so deep within us, so deep, by showing up, those parts of us come to life, jump out and say, I'm here. I'm ready. What do I need to do? How do I need to do it? You will be shown, you will be guided when we trust that inner self, that essence of who we are. Yeah. See, there's a faith, there's a trust. And I like that saying, how Master Jesus said, having faith of a mustard seed. There's many, 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 many times in my life that I had to have the faith of a mustard seed. Had no idea how it was going to work out. Had no idea how the retreat was going to go, who was going to show up, if anybody would show up. Yet I knew within me I was to do it. Was it scary? You better believe it was. And I could feel beings around me. I could feel this support. And one day, before I even, I knew I was to say yes, I could feel this calling within me that wanted me to say that yes. And I sat here, right here in this room. This is as my grandkids call it, Grandma's secret room, Grandma's magic room, Grandma's spirit room, Grandma's spirit room. You mean in your spirit room, Grandma? And I bawled because there was up here, I didn't think I could do it. Didn't know how I was going to do it. See, and I can feel that emotion coming up right now as I share this story with you. But in here, in my heart space, I could feel it. I could see it. But when I allowed my mind to get too involved, yes, I needed to create an agenda or a yeah, that's okay to say agenda. And I needed to create, certain things needed to be in place. However, when I was in that space, bringing that heart into with the mind, allowing the heart within the mind. Yes, we have a heart within the mind. Allowing that heart to also show me, to be with me. I knew it was to be inclusive. I didn't know how to make that happen either. Yes, we have the room, but there was like, you know, we can only hold so many people in great comfort. Yes, we could put tents up if people wanted to. We could, there was all these other options. Yes. However, I wasn't quite sure how that was all going to happen. And I was getting in a tizzy. This was back in late April when I said yes. Some people thought I was crazy. What? You just said yes in late April and you're already having it in July? But I also knew it had to happen this summer. It was to happen this summer. But as I cried and as I just allowed all this emotion to come forth, like, wow, that popped something within me. That popped open this inner part of me. See, I said yes. What we were just talking about. I said yes to an unknown. I said yes to showing up, even though I didn't know how that was going to look. I had to let go of what I would look like. It wasn't about me. You know, I could be judging myself right now. I got some makeup on. I didn't do my hair. I let it dry naturally. And we're just rushing, getting back. We had, maybe 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes before I got on here. Had to make sure my grandkids were settled and, good. So, hey, grandma's going to be on alive. So with all of that, and, needed to help Tim out real quick. Hey, can you send a text message for me? Because he doesn't send text messages. And somebody needs some information. And I'm like, no, go help Levi help you out. Go figure it out. So when we say yes, to ourselves and yes to what's calling us, when it feels right, because I have known and I've heard for years that I am to have retreats here. And saying that yes, and allowing all that emotion to come up, and allowing myself to get out of what I think it should look like or how it was going to flow. And the people that ended up coming, the participant that was here was astounded. Was like I shared with y'all last week. We did in 3 days what most people only do in a lifetime, if they even get that far. Yeah. So coming back around to our environment, how does it support you? See, that inner self, there was things I had to let go of. I had to let go of in order for more support to show up for me. Internally, thank you. Internally and externally. So I want to leave you with this today. What externally in your environment no longer supports you? What needs to be upgraded? Because see, we also require to do upgrades within ourselves. What needs to be upgraded within you? Is there a belief? Is there an old agreement that needs to be cleared out? Is there a belief that keeps you stuck? Do you believe you can do this or that? Yes, I do, Tammy. Oh, no, not that one, though. So that's where we dig. We go into that belief. We find these old beliefs, these old programmings, these old programmings. What's an old program you have? One of the old programs I have that I've been working on is I thought I was damned to hell growing up. I had to be saved in order to go to heaven. Bullshit. I still find little strings of that every now and then. It's still also clearing out the fear that has been so grossly, just grossly, disgustingly been perpetrated upon so many of us. Like it's this fear program that's running is all about control. So clearing that out of our systems too. There's ways we do that. Getting unstuck, darlings. Clearing all of that of what no longer supports us. The old storm door. The latch that doesn't work. The car that needs a new battery. Maybe a tire needs to be fixed. What things? A rug, a rug that needs to be thrown away and buy a new one to take its place. An old broom that the bristles are worn. A new roller. I don't know why this is a new roller for your vacuum cleaner. Been meaning, when there's this saying in quotes, been meaning to do that. I encourage you to whatever that in quotes, I've been meaning to do that. What comes up for you, to schedule it in, put it in your calendar, put it in your schedule to make it happen. So let's just take a deep breath. Because when we take care of those things, can you feel that? The space starts to open even more. It starts to open within us. It starts to open within us and around us. Some more incredible yumminess can come and visit us. More abundance can flow through us and to us in a variety, endless variety of ways. I'm here for you. Let's just keep this chat going right here in our Facebook group and over on YouTube. However I can help, let me know. I'm here for you. I believe in you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me today, whether it's on live or on the replay. Cheers, everyone. I hope you're enjoying your summer. And those of you that are in winter, stay warm. Cheers.